So in this short video, I want to talk about the Russian Israel slash Gaza connection. Putin clearly benefits from the war in Israel and Gaza. He is the big winner. There's no doubt about it. Now that doesn't mean that he's behind it, pulling the strings. I don't see the evidence of that sort of thing. But here's an article that just came out a couple days ago from the Foreign Policy magazine, which is a real highbrow kind of intellectual magazine. Russia, so the argument went, was deliberately and directly fueling conflict in the Holy Land to broaden its battlefield with the West. I don't think that they were deliberately necessarily behind it, but I do think that what was happening with Russia and the West, with Israel, is that it is good to distract your enemy. And so distracting the United States could help them take their eye off the ball of Ukraine, and that would be good for Putin. Okay, it's true that Moscow has a long maintained close relations with Hamas, an Islamic group that controls Gaza and enjoys Iranian backing. Hamas delegations have frequented Moscow, meeting with Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. All right, Hamas is far from a Russian puppet. I think that's very fair. They have their own agency in trying to reclaim all of their land as they see it. You do not need to encourage them to attack Israel. They want to wipe Israel off the map. Over the years, some Russian-made weapons, such as anti-tank and shoulder-launched anti-aircraft missiles, have made their way to Gaza, likely through Iran. But so far, there's no clear evidence that Russia supported Hamas in planning or executing its surprise attack on Israel. I think that's fair, but that doesn't mean that Russia isn't benefiting in other ways and even trying to exacerbate the problem. That does not mean that Russia is a non-entity in this latest Israel-Hamas conflict, the article goes on. In Syria, Russia and Iran have found common cause in harassing U.S. forces stationed in the northeast. New war in the Middle East suits Russian President Vladimir Putin. Moscow hopes to deflect Western attention and resources away from Ukraine by cultivating global pressure points and distractions. It's to the degree that when I went to RT this morning, and I looked at it and I said, okay, this is 45 minutes ago. This is the last 25 article or videos about an RT, just what they've put out on RT. And now I've noticed this as a trend. The number of Russian trolls that I've seen attacking my videos has gone down tremendously, and the number of pro-Gaza, pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas trolls has gone up tremendously. And okay, so let's look at this. There's 25 videos here. Let's just count wherever they talk about Israel and Hamas as opposed to Ukraine or other topics. Okay, 1. Israel kibbutz. Okay, number 2. Iranian mothers rally for Palestine. 3. Pro-Palestinian protesters. 4. Crosstalk. No, not really. So we're still on 3. Gaza. 4. Thousands burn Israeli flags in Greece. 5. 400 puppies and cats rescued from animal traffickers in Spain. We're still on 5. 32 injured in train derailment in Indonesia. We're still on 5. Enormous crowd gathered in Yemeni capital in support of Gaza. That's 6. South Africans criticize Israel. That's 7. Desperate Gazans dig by hand. That's 8. 8 people buried under the rubble in an airstrike that hits mosque in central Gaza. That's 9. Chin balls and Darth Blinken overshadow Joe Biden's award show. Okay, we're still on 9. Egyptians demand border opening. That's 10. Mine tragedy. I'm not exactly sure which that is, so we'll still say we're on 10. Airstrikes destroy residential buildings in central Gaza. That's 11. Israelis pray at Western Wall. That's for a safe return from captives of Gaza. That is 12. U.S. armored vehicles arrive in Tel Aviv. That's 13. Pro-Gaza. That's 14. Netanyahu. That's 15. Protesters attempt to storm Israel's embassy. That's, what was that, 15. 16. Israel to take their war into territory. That's 17. What other nations do is condemn. What the U.S. and Israel do. That's 17. 18. Demonstrators burn Israeli flag. That's 19. And government just got caught in big fat lie in Trump. That's not related to it. So 19 out of 25. So almost 75, 80%, something along those lines of just the most recent things that RT put out in video is all about Gaza. And they're keeping that narrative up because that is keeping attention away from what's going on in Ukraine. Okay, that's all that I had to say here. I think that there's something legitimate to this where Putin is really seeing that he's benefiting by exacerbating what's going on in Gaza and Israel. And does he have a dog in the fight? If he does, it's probably pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine, anti-Israel. While Israel wants to keep good relations with Russia for strategic reasons because of the number of Jews there, the number of Jews that have come from Russia to Israel and have dual citizenship, or the way that they can, help work with Russia sometimes to deal with Syria or those kind of things. I don't, it's a one-sided relationship. It's like Netanyahu's kind of spitting in the wind by trying to maintain that. But that's where we are. Okay, tell me what your thoughts are. I'm curious. Put them in the comments. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the subscribes and the coffees. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about what's happening in both Israel and in Ukraine.